Honourable Minister and Under Secretary, delegates to the OIE, leaders from industry, ladies and gentlemen. The Americas, like every other region in the world, is at risk from African swine fever. The events unfolding right now in China and Southeast Asia could happen here in the Western Hemisphere in the very near future. In the next 2 days, let's talk about prevention. We know the risk pathways exist: legal imports, passengers carrying food, and illegal channels. Our understanding of complex issues in these risk pathways is imperfect and often lags reality. So too does our risk mitigation. The OIE standards for commodity-based trade provide a scientifically sound means for harmonised risk management. All countries in the Americas should be consistently applying Chapter 15.1 of the Code to your imports of risk goods from infected zones in infected countries. Prevention also requires coordination between public and private sectors to provide a strong foundation of intelligence to inform risk management. Coordination between border agencies, airlines, shippers and freight forwarders, and importers to ensure the requirements are understood and implemented, and everyone does the right thing when they become aware of non-conformance. In the next 2 days, let's talk about preparedness. Preparedness means early warning systems, encompassing industry awareness, with all farmers and farm workers knowing what to look for, how to report their suspicion, and the imperatives for doing so. It also involves surveillance and investigation programs, supported by diagnostic capability. Preparedness also means a strong understanding and application of biosecurity on farms, in processes, and across all the support industries: feed, genetics, equipment, transport, and animal health. But biosecurity must become business as usual, using a whole system approach. Preparedness also involves contingency planning. In the absence of a vaccine for African swine fever, we are reliant on stamping out. This requires readiness for destruction, decontamination and disinfection, and readiness for zoning with enhanced surveillance and movement control. It also requires strategic readiness for response coordination, liaison between technical and political leadership, stakeholder management, industry welfare, support and compensation, and public communications require planning and practice. Preparedness also encompasses trade risk mitigation. You should plan ahead to protect high-value exports, particularly genetics. You should consider agreements with key partners to accept the basis for regionalisation and compartmentalisation within trade certification arrangements. The trust and confidence such arrangements rely on is founded on the understanding of your partner's capacity to transparently implement early warning and rigorously activate the contingency plan. Therefore, there is a compelling imperative for cooperation between countries in this region. You need to be confident that your neighbour is doing the necessary. The Global Framework for Transboundary Animal Disease in the Americas, also known as GFTADS, will provide the multi-country coordination and support mechanism to build regional confidence in prevention and preparedness. We can learn from the successful cooperation under GFTADS Europe, the transparent sharing of country status and activities, and the development of best practice guidelines from the Standing Group of Experts on ASF. The OIE Director General recently visited China, along with the FAO Deputy Director General, to initiate an Asia-Pacific Standing Group of Experts to support ASF preparedness and control in that region. The approach ensures the regional context, animal demography, farming systems, market chains and regulatory systems are taken into account. The same can happen here in the Americas region, Your experts know your systems best. I would like to acknowledge the Global Research Alliance on ASF, GARA, and their leadership regarding the scientific evidence base and research needs. I encourage national science funders to play their part to address the highlighted gaps through R&D initiatives. The forthcoming OIE General Session in May will have a technical item on African swine fever. This will provide a global situation update and highlight the strategic challenges we face. We hope to achieve our members' support for a resolution providing the mandate to initiate a global strategy on African swine fever, which will provide the global context and coherence for the regionally driven activities in Africa, Europe, Asia and the Pacific, and of course the Americas. Finally, I too would like to thank our host Canada for initiating this event, but also for your long-standing support for the OIE, strategic, scientific and financial. Thank you.